I think this underscores kind of the overall strategy and importance of tailoring your content to resonate with a specific audience in the way that they're going to consume it. Here's what I don't mean when I say that. What I don't mean is you change your art or you change actually what you make. Rather, you tailor for how somebody's going to consume something in a moment in order to better reach them and allow your art to actually form them in that way. So let me kind of share a story of what I mean by this. So one of the first churches I partnered with on a creative standpoint, we were trying to figure out a way to kind of highlight some of the culture within the church as a whole, especially as a small church, but one that was growing. And we wanted to kind of keep this same culture around, but use media in a way to do it. And so I suggested launching a podcast. And I know what you're thinking. A lot of people are like, we don't need another podcast. And in a way, you're probably right in some ways. But I think one of the things we need to think about is just how much media can play a role in our immediate congregation in the sense of telling stories. Because this wasn't just a sermon-based podcast like all of the others. This was a podcast that kind of highlighted the stories, the testimonies of what God was doing in people's lives in the everyday moment. And so I think this is great because for two reasons that churches and creative ministries, or even you as an artist or a creative, should think about ways in which you can kind of use media to kind of bring people more into your story. And so there's two reasons for this. The first being that it highlights the culture. Like it showcased the unique narrative within the congregation and within the people. But then also it added personal connection. It added faces to names and shared personal stories, fostering this kind of sense of community. And I'm always a big proponent of pushing names and faces to what you make. And because of this, it actually had an adverse effect in which people started to share with their friends, like, hey, my friend was on this podcast. And it actually began to have a wider impact